Hey, welcome to another exciting adventure with the Cranky Geeks. I'm your host, John C. Dvorak, and we have a great show lined up for you this week. We're going to talk a little bit about the CES show, which we forgot to talk about last week, so we got a couple of guys who went to the show, and we're going to discuss it in some detail, mostly negative reports from what I can tell. So let's begin by introducing today's guests, beginning with Sebastian Ruppli, the co-crank and the editor at a website called GigaOM. Blackjack Giga was the founder of that, right?
Right.
He retired, I understand.
You got it.
And sitting on his left is Rob Enderle, the president of the Enderle Group. And finally, sitting over here is the fabulous Dave Mathews.
Totally fabulous.
Inventor, and he claims to be a tech journalist, but he's really more of an inventor, I've decided.
Oh, excellent.
So,
thanks for putting me in a box.
You know, every once in a while somebody says, "Oh, you had Dave Mathews on this show. He is the greatest geek in the world."
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I should charge double what I'm charging right now.
No problem. All right, ebook reader, Kindle. Boom, Kindles, a variety of options. Ha ha ha. Cascade of e-readers will hit the market this year, taking the devices far beyond grayscale screens with features like touch navigation. Somebody's dying on the set, by the way. They're over there. Mouth to mouth? Forget it. Any new ones you were seen at CES, blah, blah, blah. So I saw, here's what I saw, or I didn't see anything, I didn't go, but here's what I assume was at the show. Pads, 3D TVs, and a bunch of ebooks.
1.2 million ebooks. They were everywhere, and every Asian vendor had their interpretation of an ebook. And it's such a failed platform, let me just say.
So you don't think the Kindle's the number one Christmas gift of all time? The Kindle is a failed platform. That's what you're saying.
But who's auditing these numbers, right? Did you guys
Yeah, actually, you're right. Nobody's putting forward the numbers, though. I love my Kindle. It goes every place I go, and it's
hold it up to show the people that you actually have one with you.
I actually have one. I've got the big one.
The big one. So that has the keyboard on it. That's like the industrial design.
Open it
by cavemen, I think, right?
Yeah, well, you don't type on a book that often.
Yeah, no,
so
but it's just like the whole thing. I really like.
You hate it.
I hate the platform. It's one more device to carry. I already have a BlackBerry iPhone and a netbook in my mantle. But
that's right. You carry a man purse, don't you?
A merce. Yeah, I like to call it. But no, this whole idea of yet another device is ridiculous. But I got to say, I did play with the Barnes & Noble Nook. Have you guys seen this yet? It's got a color touchscreen with cover flow, so you can flip through the artwork of the books on the bottom. And what's really clever that they're doing, which is trying to compete.
You're changing your opinion here, right?
I still don't like I don't like the category. I like what they're doing. What Barnes & Noble does is when you're in a Wi-Fi hotspot in a Barnes & Noble, they can deliver e-coupons to you for coffee or bagels or whatever they have.
You don't find that annoying?
I think that's clever. And they'll also allow you to loan books. So I can give my book to Sebastian for 14 days. He can read it on any platform, his iPhone, his laptop, etc.
The Kindle?
On the Barnes & Noble.
No, can he read it on the Kindle?
I don't think they have interoperative.
You said any platform.
Oh, you're right. Any non-Nook platform. The other thing that's clever about the Barnes & Noble Nook is it's on Android. So I think it's going to be hackable.
But they have no browser on there. Why would they not have a browser? Something so basic?
You know, there's an Easter egg browser on the Kindle. So with the Nook. Oh, yeah.
How do you get to it?
I'll tell you later.
You can't make it public?
This is the kind of thing he knows. He's very good at
No, I know he does, but it seems to me that the public at large should be informed.
Yeah, no, I can do some little post on it. Every time I'm on the show, I spend more time in the comments talking about the hacks for whatever
Why don't you just tell me after the show, I'll blog it.
Okay, cool. But yeah, you can get a little browser on that. So with the Nook being like a geospatial, being able to lend and being on Android, I think that has the 3 or 4 things that it needs to beat the Kindle.
Yeah.
Well,
actually, I'm waiting for the third generation. Now, the Kindle's totally first generation. We saw the beginning of second generation of the show, which wasn't the Nook. The second generation were the Hearst Skiff and the Plastic Logic Q.
Yeah. But you said the Bleo software platform.
Well, that's third generation. So when you get to third generation, that's when you blend multimedia. That's when you blend color. So you can have it on the same page. You can have a page, and the graphic can actually be interactive. You can tie in audiobooks and text, and so as you're reading a book, you stop reading, you get into your car, plug it in, you now have an audiobook feed, and it's the voice, it's not the Kindle computer voice as you go through. Mm-hmm. And the third generation will have these next generation screens that allow you to do what you do on the Kindle in terms of low light and low power, and then also the multimedia stuff that you want. Pixel Qi screen and the Qualcomm Mirasol screen are the ones that come in, and really they're fabulous technologies, but we don't really get them until the end of next year. And I tend to agree the current generation of e-books, 2 more generations to go. By the way, watch the iSlate. It looks like they've locked up the OLED displays for 10 inches, so they're going to try to do with OLED what the Mirasol does and the Pixel Qi does much better, but later on.
You know what looks really impressive to me that might be a shocker is an unannounced product, the Courier from Microsoft.
Isn't that nice? Twin page, which they should have had up on the damn
That doesn't get
keynote.
anywhere near as much press as the rumored Slate from Apple, but I've seen pictures of it on Engadget, and Engadget has a whole bunch of pictures, and it looks awesome.
I met with HP the next day at CES, and I tried to squeeze the knowledge out of them. Mum's the word. It's such a product that is only a select few people, even within HP, has seen. And the closest...
the HP tablet.
Well, that was I think HP made that during Ballmer's speech.
Well, that's it, but the Courier's different. The Courier's a twin screen. It actually opens up like a book. It's got touch. The only twin screen tablet I saw that show was MSI. Actually had a twin screen tablet, but it was darked out. They wouldn't tell you anything about it either.
It was clever. It had a touch screen, lower screen. You could read it like a book with 2 pages of content, or fold it like a laptop and then type on the glass screen.
Bottom. Yeah, it was very nice.
Very clever from MSI. Yeah, and that's another sleeper company. You know,
MSI has done a lot of good stuff.
Did you see their all-in-one? Did you see the MSI all-in-one? That thing was a piece of art. It was just gorgeous. It slid up. The keyboard came out of the deal. The back end looked like sculpted glass. It was just
the Lenovo
gorgeous.
as well. They have an Idea line, Idea Center, I think they call it. So finally, what Apple's done for the rest of the industry is made them pay attention to industrial design.
Yep. Yeah, beautiful products this year.
How long does this take? I mean, the fact of the matter is that Apple's been industrial design oriented for...
I'd say since the I series, right? But they've always had some clever industrial design, but there was really blocking it and edgy. I think since the I series and 97 when the iMac came out, that was really when they started getting into the bubble shapes.
Companies are just flat out copying Apple. I have this HP Envy notebook in the office, which is exactly like a MacBook. I mean, the pointing device and the whole
Is it
thing.
called the aluminum MacBook though? That's that big,
much more powerful
single piece.
and heavier.
I think Dell's going more that route with going with the precious metals, or so they call it.
Yeah. So what else do you guys see at the show?
3D. Anybody excited about 3D?
Nobody's
all over the place.
Yeah.
See, I can't get over the glasses. I just can't get over the glasses. If you sit down and you have to put on a pair of glasses, and most of them were geeky. The Panasonics were nice, but most of them were incredibly geeky. And I just had this problem with sitting down and I want to watch 3D now.
You sit down on the glasses,
and they've got to be charged because they're active shutters. They've got to be charged. You pick them up, put them on, they're not charged. Oh crap! So and if you're having a Super Bowl party, every single person has to have glasses, and you can't use them for anything else. Now the one thing I did see there was 2 guys got together, Microvision Optical, and for the polarized glasses. They've actually come up with a line of dark glasses that you could wear as regular dark glasses and then walk into a Dolby movie and use them so you don't look like a friggin' geek when you're watching the movie. Yeah. I'm thinking, why don't go that way? I mean, I could see buying glasses that were cool glasses.
Isn't the technology very difficult to do a polarized technology with an LCD screen?
Well, maybe, but right now with the shutters, it's just not working for me. So at the end of the day, I'm just convinced unless we can get over the glasses, this isn't going to go. Actually, for Bloomberg, I went back and took a look at the adoption for color, and it started in 1946, 1951. It was a fail. It took till 1961 when Walt Disney brought out The Wonderful World of Color to drive color into the market. 14 years and no glasses.
Yep. Right. The polarized glasses were invented by Dr. Land, the inventor of Polaroid. In 1942 or 52.
It goes way back.
Way back. So these polarized glasses that we use in most of the theaters, if you see the Disney movies, the Pixar, those are polarized. But the whole idea of this active shutter, it also has this kind of a screen door effect, and as you dart your eyes around the screen, you can see the flashing. This is very similar to what DLP had. They had a rainbow artifact.
Still do.
The DLP. Right. So I was playing some video games at Sony. They had OLED 3D on a 23.5-inch screen. Looked beautiful, but still, you get this motion sickness playing these video games. I'm bullish.
A lot of people get nauseous with those shutters.
It's going to be a total fail. The fact that you have to wear these glasses is terrible. But here's the worst travesty of this. You don't need a 240 hertz TV. You don't need a 3D TV. You can use a 120 hertz television that you have today with a 60 hertz shutter rate on LED glasses to achieve 3D. And every one of these vendors, except for one, Optima, was telling you had to buy a new TV because of faster processing. Optima was the one vendor at CES
that was honest.
That was honest.
That you didn't, yep.
Yeah, that is true. In fact, the early there was a faddish period in the late mid '90s where there was some 3D with the shutters. The guy who invented them is local, and they showed up on some displays, and they weren't racking up 240. It was just regular 60.
So one other cool device that showed. Did you see it? Did you see the AR drone?
Oh yes,
Wasn't that cool?
Was that the Bluetooth?
No, well, it's the hover drone that came through, and you could watch the camera with your iPhone, and you could control it, and it would follow people around the room.
Yeah, this is a little copter.
Four fans, like your own personal military drone.
Yeah.
For some reason, that just kind of under $500. I looked at that and said, okay, I got to get one of those just to scare the pets.
The problem is doesn't have any range.
Well, that one's controlled by Bluetooth, so it's even less range.
Less range.
Yeah, I like something. If you can go a mile, and you can fly the thing down the neighborhood.
Kind of check out your neighbors and see what the hell they're doing.
the horse track and fly it around. But the horses.
I still thought it was cool.
The way the
problem is you need no wind for these things to operate.
Yeah, that's right.
And it had
It's better
gyros on
inside,
board.
yeah.
And WowWee had a toy like this years ago. So the WowWee RoboSapien guys had a flying toy with like 4 or 5 gyros on it. But I think that was more of a clever marketing technique by Parrot, which actually got me to their booth. Parrot has some really cool Bluetooth stuff.
And we're going to talk about that right after this break. We'll be right back.
I'm Danica Patrick, IndyCar driver and GoDaddy girl. I know a little bit about speed, so take it from me. If you want a fast way to make a name for yourself on the internet, GoDaddy has everything you need. GoDaddy got me online fast, and they can do the same for you. .com names as low as $1.99. When you have something to say it at GoDaddy.com.
Welcome back. With regard to that GoDaddy ad you just saw, just remember that 70% off of typical prices for domain names. Plus, as a Cranky Geeks viewer, you can get another 10% by using the code CRANK, C-R-A-N-K. Some restrictions apply. See the site for details. All right, Parrot, you were talking about.
Yeah, so it took Wi-Fi how many years to get going? Around 97, 98 in the labs, 99 Apple went with it, and by 2002 everyone else had got on board. Bluetooth, about the same run rate. You had a 5-year run rate. So now this Bluetooth integration with cars and being able to get your address book on your on-screen display, etc., is finally into the higher-end cars. Well, Bluetooth on low-end cars, short of Ford Sync, which has done a really nice job with a very inexpensive way to control your iPhone, your Windows mobile phone, and your BlackBerry. It really wasn't there as an add-on. And Parrot has tons of these gadgets that either hook on your visor or go in your cigarette lighter and tie into address books, even getting metadata off of your iPhone, which the new GS supports the stereo streaming of audio. So I think we're finally getting there with Bluetooth integration as a more robust, not just the audio, the mono audio, stereo, control, track information. So I was pretty excited about
the more I look at these Car 2.0 things, though, have you seen that there's this concept car that has 4 displays in it? That's too many displays. It also has 4G.
Yeah.
I mean, if you give people completely fast broadband and all these displays, you're getting to the point of driver distraction and
I don't care. I still want it.
Major problem.
I still. Did you? Ned, were you at the show?
No.
No. You doing the automotive section? You see that black Lexus? I wanted that so much. That oh gee, it looked like the Batmobile. It was one cool car.
So is it that concept car that they show here and there?
No, it was basically they tricked out a Lexus to put the mirrors off, but cameras where the mirrors were. It was black, full aero kit. Full tricked out. Really, people kept walking by and they come back and walk over and say, "Damn, is that the Batmobile?" No, it's a Lexus. Oh, it's just gorgeous.
Buy it.
Yeah, I'm tempted.
Sony
I
had
just bought a car and supercharged it.
I hate this. Sony had the Ford Taurus, and the Taurus actually looks good these days too. And but the Ford Sync 3.0 is really clever. You can take a USB thumb drive that you'd plug into your notebook for broadband, pop that into the Sync port, which is normally feeding your iPhone or your BlackBerry. And now you can have a Wi-Fi bubble within your Ford. And then they had some of these multi-screen technologies too. But I think really it's to cater your screens based upon what you're doing. Maybe if your engine RPMs are getting too high, your speedometer slides over and a tachometer shows up. So you can go to race mode. Obviously on the Ford, that's not the right vehicle for this. But I've seen some stuff with Lexus. They have a supercar they're working on where the
kind of like the GTR does this as well, where you can change the displays.
I saw that car. The GTR display is made by the same guys that do.
You get a GTR. You talking about the Nissan?
Yeah.
Larry Ellison has one.
I was close.
He says it's the best car he owns, including his Bugatti.
It is. It outdoes most any other supercar.
I found one for 86 grand in 09, had 4,000 miles. The dashboard is designed by the guys who did Need for Speed on the PlayStation 2. It's unbelievable, but it's still a Japanese car, and I couldn't do that again.
The Japanese make the best cars. What do you mean you can't do it again?
I needed something with more soul. Japanese cars have no soul.
So before we get off CES, did you see the Ford keynote?
I didn't see the keynote, but the Sync 3.0, I'm very
So the only
fond
reason I
of.
was going to say that Ford keynote, if they'd handcuffed me to a chair, I would have gnawed my arm off and dragged myself out of it.
Oh,
It was
that
so
boring.
How can you do a car keynote and make it incredibly dull? Somebody just missed a meeting.
Yeah. All right. I guess so. CES wrap up. Anything good?
3D, save your money. Do not buy 3D.
Not yet. Maybe not
The
ever.
show you said was dull.
It was more people, like 200,000 people there, so it was up from last year.
So that means the industry's picking up.
Yeah, we
again.
think, we're very optimistic.
Yeah, there were a lot of people there, and actually, I had a good time. I saw a lot of stuff that I really liked. So much better than the last couple of years. Last couple of years, I thought CES was going to go Comdex.
Did you go to City Center, by the way, and visit it?
I did not.
Did you?
Oh wait, no, I didn't.
Was that the Ren
I went.
thing?
I went.
No,
I went to one.
MGM owns it.
I went to a something that was in a studio over there, but I didn't actually get into the main facility.
I went to the Wynn Encore. I looked at that new. It's beautiful if you like French horse.
There's a lot of French whores there?
No, just the decor.
The style, yeah.
Victoria.
Okay, well, I guess I'm going to have to take a visit to see City Centers. It's supposed to be pretty interesting. The Intel's new chip highlights a lead over AMD, according to this card. Intel's new Core chips unveiled at CES are the company's first to feature tiny parts whose average width is 32 nanometers or 32 billionths of a meter.
It's amazing how many chips they unveiled there. Wasn't it something like 30 chips?
Yeah, it was a lot of chips, and strange enough, they really should have been all on Atom. I mean, that was really an ARM show where small devices. The Nehalem stuff is great, but it's not so much a PC show. There really wasn't that much to get you excited on PCs. Mostly it was these small devices that were all over the place, and I think they should have led with Atom and not with Nehalem. Nehalem's a great part, but it's
Well, it makes more
CES is
sense
so
at the CES show to be with the Atom chip anyway. I mean,
Right, that's what's going against ARM, and otherwise it just became you saw ARM.
So you follow this the industry from the chip level. Where's AMD in this? When are they going to come roaring back?
Next year. They come back with their converged chip next year. They've been slow a little bit because they're in the process of bringing together Fusion, which is where you put the CPU and the GPU on the same die. And that hits next year. That's their competitive advantage because you saw Larrabee, which was Intel's counter to Fusion, fail this year. And so that gives AMD a shot now at Intel.
We're going to take a break. We'll be right back right after this. I'm John Dvorak. This is a moment with Squarespace. I'm going to show you a little trick that a lot of you might not know about when it comes to editing some of the templates that you have when you go into the back end of the software, which is actually the front end because everything's in Ajax. But let's go over here to this little paintbrush, which is the style editor. You click on that and you want to go to banner and navigation right here and get to the custom layouts. Let's say you're doing something with a horizontal layout and you want to change widths. So the content width, let's say you want to make it bigger or smaller, and then all of a sudden you decide that, well, I want it back to where it was, and then you realize that you don't remember. Just go up to the top here with your arrow and click into the black space, and look at that, it resets itself automatically. It's amazing. I'm John Dvorak. That's a moment with Squarespace. Welcome back to the Cranky Geeks. This is a nerdy show today, if you haven't noticed, because we have two extreme nerds here besides and Sebastian.
And the cool guy.
Sebastian.
It's nice for you to say that about John.
You work for Blackjack Giga. I mean, you work for that guy. Holy crap. Is the Boxy 2 open for the networks? Asks the card. The Boxy box, which is sold in a box, by the way. Which is to be sold for around $200, is a set-top box based on the Boxy open source media center platform you invented this thing.
No. I helped
you were the
Blackjack Giga understand how to get more content to the living room.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So what's the question? The rhetorical question
the
says
Boxy Box is their first. This is their first consumer electronics device that the software.
It won the
platform
best of
is
show.
in. It won best of show at CES. But we did a story asking if it's too open for the networks, and it is a question. There's already been this high-profile dispute with Hulu, where Hulu requested to have its content taken down. I could see other networks taking the same kind of position. I mean, what are you guys going to do about that?
So evolve or die, right? These networks are losing subscribers. People in their 20s care as little about their cable box as I do about my home phone line. I still have a satellite and a cable system at home because I like the content on demand. I don't want it to spool up.
Yep.
So Boxy's not quite there yet with the on demand. But as broadband, there's a Rev3 channel on there, there's Mevo channel, there's more and more channels where it spools up pretty quickly. Even the Netflix integration on Boxy is pretty damn good for movies on demand, although the quality or the breadth of movies is relatively low. But if you're too open, look what Verizon was doing with cell phone pass. They were very close. Apple came, made the App Store where relatively anyone can develop apps. Pay that $100 fee to get into the club. You can start developing apps. And then the Nexus, what's going on with Google, is open. So open that viruses are getting on the network, which is fun. But everything has to evolve and open up or die.
Mm-hmm. I tend to agree. It's really the advantage of the product, and it's a case that we're really following the networks, the content owners, and the content owners are pretty much living last decade.
The content owners in Hollywood are pretty hard to convince that open is
they're
the
moving.
best path.
They're moving too slow. But if they don't move more quickly, the market's going to pass them by.
I love saying this. I will not pay for an HBO subscription because they pay for I would be paying for too many old movies. But I would buy an Entourage or a Weeds or some of the shows that I like.
Yep.
I'd give them $25 a season for those shows.
So you like Weeds?
Just an example, John.
Just one.
I'm an Eagle Scout,
Yeah. All right. By the way, I don't understand why they don't do just pay per. It should be like. If you have like a Dish Network or one of these, you can call them up and say, I'm going to be gone for 2 weeks, and they shut it down. You don't charge you because why would they? But if you have a big old C-band, one of those big old guys that, and you get a 4D TV or whatever that thing is for the HD, you can actually, there's services you can go say, I would like to have HBO today.
Right.
And they bill you for 1 day of HBO.
Charlie Ergen used to do that when Dish Network, and Charlie came from selling buds, big ugly dishes out of the back trunk of his car. In the early 90s, I worked with him on a project from the original founders of CompUSA, and he said, I had this dream to have satellites in space. So that's how Dish Network and EchoStar came about. And you could a la carte networks, not on the day-to-day level, but you could say, I want this channel, this channel, this channel. And what happened is the ARPU, the average revenue per user, was in the teens. And he wanted to jack it up to get it $30, $40, $60 a month per user. And there's tons of breakage in there too, right? They want the breakage. They want you to get the package of 95 channels for $69
You can only watch one at a time.
Yep. And then charge an extra, $20 per box in the house or whatever it is. But I just heard that Charlie's now charging if you want to put a vacation hold on your service. So there's a fee for that now. So
that's not good.
Yeah. So this is like, they're doing it to themselves. Comcast, Time Warner, EchoStar, DirecTV. People are spending hundreds of dollars per month for their operators, and they're just, upsetting their customers.
A lot of kids are talking about in fact, there's been some studies, and I've seen people interviewed that are actresses that are young, and they always say they don't have a TV. They watch everything on the computer, and they usually watch it through Hulu or something, and they can keep up with all those fabulous shows, but they don't pay anything.
Well, you got Tim Beharon on the show every once in a while. Ben Beharon, his son, he doesn't connect to any of the regular networks. He just gets online and brings down
My son
Hulu
does the same thing. He doesn't have a TV. You ask, why don't you have a TV? I don't want a TV for. It takes up a bunch of room. It's not as convenient. It costs money because you didn't have cable.
Well, if you want the best right now, get a flat panel screen. I just got the Samsung inch thick one that I love, the LED.
Screen,
Got a great Black Friday deal. Hook over the air or hook one of these Elgato Mac tuner for DVR up to over the air antenna so you can get your HD and beautiful.
Right.
And then get a Roku today or a Boxy Box tomorrow, and you're set. You don't need anything else.
And by the way, over-the-air HD is better.
Oh yeah, much better than cable or satellite.
Especially with the sound. The sound comes a full Dolby sound.
DTS,
So it's fantastic. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back after this message. I'm John Dvorak, and I want to tell you about Carbonite, which is a product I use to do online backup. I finally given up on buying those little disk drives. And then I noticed my wife lost a hard disk recently, and she refuses to back up. So I got her an account, and now I don't have to worry so much. Carbonite's $55 a year, which is actually cheaper than a hard drive. And if you use the code word CRANK, C-R-A-N-K, you can get a 15-day free trial. And if you decide to buy it, you'll get 2 months free. Check it out. Carbonite. Back it up, get it back. Welcome back to the Cranky Geeks and Carbonite. So my wife loses her hard disks like 3 times. I got to get her a Carbonite subscription because that's the only way to puts it on the internet. It's automatic. Do you use it? No. But anyway, check it out and go to carbonite.com and use our code. You know, you've heard of these other guys advertising it. I can name names. Use our code, C-R-A-N-K, no matter what you hear from the other guys, and you'll get the same deal basically, which is 2 weeks free if you subscribe. Microsoft cuts Office versions and pricing options for 2010.
You got to ask, does anybody really need to upgrade to Office? It's becoming the question to ask about Windows and the question to ask about Office. I mean, what's the major reason to upgrade anymore? You know?
But don't you think they should offer it?
It's been historically a major part of Microsoft's revenue.
They're just going to gouge you instead.
Yeah. I mean, can you cite any major reason? I've seen Office 2010. There aren't really any big reasons to upgrade, I don't think.
Which one do you use?
I have 2007.
You know what galls me? Especially with 2007, people start saving their documents with DocX.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then they send them to you.
Yep.
So most of my machines, I'm not using 2007 except on one machine. Can't open it up.
Yep.
Yeah, I always
And then you go to download.
You can download the little
it doesn't work.
compatibility thing.
I'm telling you, I got a machine right here that it's, sorry, we can't find it. You got to do this and that and the other thing. You can't. The compatibility thing doesn't work.
I think you can actually open them in Google Docs now.
Yeah, you can. And that's what I'm using now, Google Docs. And by the way, Apple did the same thing, so it's not just the evil people in Seattle, it's the evil people in Cupertino as well. Between iWork 08 and 09, they did another format change. But yeah, this defaulting to DocX is a bad thing. So
and people don't seem to realize it. They send you these docs, go DocX, and there's also a spreadsheet X.
Right.
And it's like they're useless.
That's the XML code that they got in trouble for, right?
Right.
That was the XML parser that they didn't license. So that's what that X is for.
With that,
I know, it's hilarious.
The lawsuit from I4I.
It's gone now. Well, actually, in Office 2010, that code was never in it.
Yeah.
All right, so we've had our complaints. I don't know if there's a story. Pico projectors. Now, this was at CES.
Yeah.
And does anybody think that this? I mean,
Well, LG had a phone with a projector in it.
Sorry?
You see the LG phone that had a projector
Yeah,
built
it's
in?
got a little projector in the phone.
It was really kind of bizarre.
And
It's
you can
kind of
make, I
cool.
think, it's 60 inches or so big.
It's pretty.
But it's got no oomph.
Four lumens. Samsung had one integrated.
You have to be a cat in a pitch black room to see this thing.
Yep. It's clever. It's neat. I like the digital cameras that have it. I think that's a little more clever application. Or I think eventually we'll have thumb drives that'll have our PowerPoint presentation on them, and then a Pico projector on the ass of the thumb drive, and I can just sit there and show you my elevator
Then you have
pitch.
to hold the laptop to get it to.
But just think, I can show my elevator pitch to you in the elevator on the wall.
Well, the whole point is it's all in that thumb drive, so you're doing it. You don't have to hold your laptop. You're doing it all from a little device.
But it's clever. It's TI technology. The Samsung version, the latest iteration, was not really visible on the show floor. That was kind of a Texas Instruments backroom demo, and it does 480p. So all the other projectors here to 10 lumens. They're using LED lighting. It'll still suck the life out of your battery, though.
Oh yeah, real fast. Well, it's because of the light.
That's right.
Yeah, the Tegra stuff does the same thing. NVIDIA does the thing where they can show you the 1080p once again and pop it up out of a phone, but you need one hell of a light source.
Yep.
Here's an interesting story. Google applies to market electricity.
This was bizarre.
So what do you think's going on here?
They claim that this is actually so that they can.
It's not on your list.
They can start to manage their own electricity usage in a green way. That's their claim. But they must have some kind of ulterior motive.
Well, they're active grid. I mean, they're heavy active grid. So their whole thought is, and their whole idea of using the grid as a way to transmit data was also behind their active grid stuff.
So what's the
why not?
status? I just got a package the other day with some 1 gigabit power line networking gear.
Yeah.
Does it work?
Yeah, as long as the intermediate stuff's done properly, yeah. It's a lot of the
What if
European
you turn on the
deliveries-
blender? In the olden days, you turn on the blender and boom, you blow up your network with at 1 megabit per second.
It should split it out right as it comes in the house.
My home was a test home in Texas for the 100 megabit, the AV standard, and they're modulating bandwidth on such far frequency extremes on that copper wire.
Yeah.
And the gigabit stuff just came out. Intelon, they just got bought by another chip manufacturer that did wireless stuff, whose name escapes me, something with an A. But yeah, this stuff's pretty well proven out. And just like with DSL, they're really modulating extra data on the extremes of what these cables can handle. You can take that gigabit stuff and put it over coax as well.
What about the ham radio guys? They were always irked about this.
Are there any left? I think they all died.
Well, there's one down the hill for me that keeps screwing up my fans, but other than that.
So does it affect them? Because I know they were.
Yeah, they had to put notch filters in it, and they had to notch out the ham frequencies. But there's only 7 of them left. Please email me.
Yes, don't believe me, they will, and they're gonna. Yeah, especially about the notch filters. That's it for today's show. By the way, I'm John Dvorak. You've been watching Cranky Geeks. By the way, you can also get a hold of us at Cranky Geeks at what's our
ZiffDavis.com.
at Mevio.com. Cranky Geeks at Mevio.com. Send us some email. I'm John Dvorak. You've been watching Cranky Geeks, as I said. See you next week.